Ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, hello, welcome to the channel. Now, I'll address this because I know my English people on the channel, the most spiciest I have. Yes, the last 3 videos I've posted, I've been in this outfit, and the next 3 I post will be in this outfit as well. Because as you know, your girl is very busy. So I get 1 day out of the week to film all my videos at once. So yeah, today we'll be checking out the 10 poorest areas in England. When I think of England, I don't think of poverty. I think of business casual and tea. So to know that you guys have poor areas, I'm like, what the heck? Because again, you have the free healthcare. Now let's not get into the argument. It's not free, Favour. We pay for it in our taxes. You'd be paying those taxes anyway, and they go somewhere else. So at least it goes to healthcare. You got your healthcare. You got your free education. You know, you've got all these different setups through the government that kind of ensures you'll be able to level up your life. So I'm like, how the heck are people still, this may be ignorant to say, welcome to the channel, this is Favour, how the heck you still got poor people if you got free healthcare, free education, free blah, 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 blah. You know, you got the resources. But anyways, let's see where the poor people are and how. Now, I told you guys, my family is originally from Barking Station, and I know that that's a poor area, so I'm wondering, what the heck? What's going on? Let's find out. Subscribe if you're new here, like the video. I'm having trouble with my computer, and let's begin. Yeah.
10 poorest areas in England.
England!
Despite England's strong and positive economic indications, some of its areas are not having the complexion reflected by its overall data. In other words, some of its areas are poor, at least in a relative sense.
Dang. It literally just boom. You think of England and you think of London. I'm sorry, but it's true. And you think of tourism, you think of the big red buses, you think of the oval-shaped taxis, and you think of the Queen and all her castles and stuff. All that means money. But it's not money to the whole country, it's just money to London. Just like New York City, that's money to New York City. Not the entire state, not the entire country of America. But you would think with all the tourism that y'all do get to London, you'd be able to disperse it throughout the entire island. You know? I don't know. What are the records looking like for y'all's finances? Because how you got millionaires and billionaires, but you still got poverty? Same thing can be asked here. How we got Elon Musk, but people can't even afford bus fare. I don't like it. Capitalism.
And in the real sense, they're poorer than cities in other parts of Europe. By the time you're through with this video about the 10 poorest areas in England, my views would have become yours. The neighbourhoods considered the poorest areas in England are those with the biggest shortages of basic social infrastructure, such as parks, playgrounds or public gardens, pubs, stores and sports facilities. They qualify for government grants meant for community renewals. They're the ones I'll love to spotlight in this video. So let's get down to analysing the 10 poorest areas in England in descending order.
So pretty though, the city.
10. Blurton, Stoke-on-Trent. Blurton, which is in Stoke-on-Trent City Council, is our starting point. As a part of a Conservative and City Independent coalition, Blurton is in the Stoke-on-Trent South Parliamentary constituency. If you're moving to England and are considering Stoke-on-Trent in the West Midlands as your last resort, you're advised to avoid living in Blurton. It's sadly one of the poorest areas, whose statistics of deprivation have climbed up significantly. There is nothing to really write home about Blurton. Blurton is probably the main reason why Stoke-on-Trent is listed among the highly deprived areas. Since the release of 2010 indices of deprivation, in which Stoke ranked 16th most deprived out of 3,262 local authorities, the actual most deprived areas have clustered around Blurton and a few other places.
So why not build them up? You know, we have places in Dallas that are just bad, but they're being surrounded by gentrification, and these neighboring cities are getting Starbuckses and malls and Pelotons and stuff, and eventually it's all going to fall into that community, which would, I guess, level it up. But that being said, then the people who originally are from there couldn't afford to live there anymore. Unless you have these things that are called fixed rates for mortgage, for rent. There's enough for everybody to survive is my point. So if you just work on it enough, I guess, help the people out, help the community out. You know, it's one country.
9. King's Standing, Birmingham.
Birmingham? And Birmingham is like a big name that you hear whenever you freaking think of England, but they're poor. The heck? Hold on.
Now let's go to North Birmingham to locate King's Standing, the area that gives its name to a ward in Erdington. It's the next to be touched among the 10 poorest areas in England.
That's wild.
The rate of home ownership in King's Standing is way lower than the national average, be it via a mortgage or owning outright.
Well, first of all, I was about to say, for these being poor places, y'all, this is like the suburbs. Look how big the houses are. You got a whole tree row in your median. Like, if this is poverty to y'all, I'm sorry to tell you, but you kind of living good.
Does that tell you something? You could discern an economic deprivation there. The lower rate of home ownership has unfortunately created a scarcity of accommodation and consequently jacked up the rent way beyond the national average.
Shit, and there you freaking go. Yeah, the places are nice, but nobody can afford them. Landlords, and I'm sure the pandemonium just made everything worse. Ugh. You know, over here we were getting these, like, what do you even call it? Stimulus checks. Were y'all getting stimulus checks over in England? Our government sent us, like, $600, I think, like, 4 times. And yeah, it's not a lot, but it's something. Did y'all get, like, finances from the Crown? Let me know.
Hey.
They better have sold one of their little jewels to help the people. I swear. A little blue diamond, pawn it and help the people out.
8. Holton.
Halton?
The next one of the poorest areas in England is Holton, a local government district in the northwestern ceremonial county of Cheshire.
Ceremonial?
It has got a borough status and is administered by a unitary authority following its creation in 1974 as a district and non-metropolitan county. On April 1st, 1998, Holton of Cheshire was granted the status of a unitary authority area under Holton Borough Council.
So it sounds like this place is kind of prestigious and like has government affiliation, which leads me to my question of, you know how in America our government system is the president, 3 legislatures, you got the state governments, you've got your governors, your mayors, and the cities and all that. It starts trickling down. There's always different levels. So who is y'all's representatives over in like Birmingham and whatever this place is? Like, does each different city have their own representatives who could come forth to the Commonwealth or the Queen or whatever and make a case? Hey, we have this bill that we want to pass. Could you sign off on it and help our communities? Like, there should be someone alerting the bigger crown and like the big governments that, hey, we need help down here. At least that's what we do over here. Like, if, I don't know, one day we have a terrible snowstorm, which has been happening a lot in Texas, our governor or our mayor, whoever, can reach out to the White House and ask for help. And it'll be granted. We'll get money, we'll get different things to clear the roads, all this kind of stuff. Like, there's representatives. Do y'all have representatives is my question, basically. I bet not, because we had to fight you just to get ours. Y'all probably don't, but still, answer my question.
However, this has done next to nothing in improving the area's economic status. The data from the Office for National Statistics, the ONS, indicates that more than 25% of the neighbourhoods in this borough are among the poorest 10% of the 32,845 neighbourhoods assessed. As an example, the health of residents of Holton is statistically worse than England's average health ranking.
That's
7.
sad.
South Kirkby, Wakefield. There's a town in the city of Wakefield in West Yorkshire called South Kirkby.
Y'all still use trains. Interesting. That's cool. And I wouldn't expect to see such big cars over in England. I thought they were all like tiny. You know, we're known for wanting big SUVs and trucks and stuff, but y'all got them too. But it's interesting that y'all move them with a train.
This town is locally under the administration of South Kirkby and Moorthorpe Town Council.
Okay,
this town
councils.
of South Kirkby is the next to be considered among the poorest areas in England.
Okay, if you have a council and your community is still poor, you need to get rid of those people in the council and bring in some new ones. Vote in some new ones. Because the council is not doing what they're supposed to be counseling about. For real. Get a new council.
The area of Wakefield district, according to the Index of Multiple Deprivation, and as the cases across the county, are home to poor people.
Damn.
South Kirkby is one of these. People in this town are generally poorer, only getting by with the most basics, as they can't afford comforts and services generally at the fingertips of the English.
It makes me want to like go over there and freaking give them like jackets and foods and stuff, which made me think, do y'all have like different services like that available? Like food pantries and, just different services to help people in need. Because it gets cold over there,
Many of them are in and out of work a lot of times. They also rank among the less healthy. 6. South Elmshore, Wakefield. We're still in the city of Wakefield in West Yorkshire in profiling the poorest areas in England.
Hold on. My battery's about to die, y'all. Alright, we're back. I decided to change my battery. But Wakefield, they got it rough.
South Elmshore is a town and civil parish in this city. It lies some distance to the east of Hemsworth.
Now that is giving very much the 1800s about to be attacked by some country. Like that's what... Man! I bet you it's probably been around from the 1800s. Where's the air conditioning? They probably still use the fireplace for a heater, man. Wakefield. Oof. Man. And it makes me sad because, like, again, you see London and it's London! Ah! But then you, like, go out of the city, go to the country, and this is how people are living. It reminds me of freaking when I was in Mexico. You saw these huge, giant pyramids. You had all the street vendors. But then once you started driving, like, throughout Mexico City area, it was just, like, houses stacked on top of each other. There was no room. The roads were terrible. Kids had no shoes on. So it's like you get, like, the poverty is overshadowed by the tourist stuff, and it's terrible, man. Because it's like, you have all these tourism people coming in with all their money and buying things, freaking me included, I'm judging myself. But then you have the locals who can barely even survive there, So you're, like, in and out, but people are suffering.
As an active, busy but small market town located between Doncaster and Wakefield, South Elmshore is not economically advancing. The town hasn't really developed more than the small farming settlement it used to be before and during the Industrial Revolution, even though the sinking of collieries brought about a boom in its population.
I think I might have actually been here. Because I was on my way to a thrift store. I don't even know if you could call it that. Because it had all the clothes and jackets and stuff just piled on the floor. It was still a nice experience and there was nice stuff. But it was just kind of culture shock. But anyway, it was like this street market. They were selling clothes, fruits, watermelons, everything. It was just like crowds of people and just rows of tables with stuff. So I don't know if that's what this is, but it started with an S. Stokely or something maybe? I don't know.
Yet there are not enough modern housing units to cater to the workforce. The town struggled to improve its economic status between 2002 and 2007, but the globe...
Baby, that was almost 20 years ago. So what are y'all doing now? Who's helping them now? There's no reason that a place should be in poverty for decades,
The recession of the following year has obliterated all those efforts.
Damn.
5. Isle of Shippy.
If it's an isle, open up some ports. Someone bring their boat and do tourist boat rides. You're right there on the water. Rent out your jet skis. Someone get them jet skis. Isle of Shippy. Utilize your resources. I'm just like, again, how can you have... Because I've been to London. I experienced London for months, and it was amazing. But then you freaking hear Isle of Shippy, people are poor. It makes no sense.
Off the northern coast of Kent, we found an island known as the Isle of Shippy as another one of the poorest areas in England. It may interest you to learn that the island derived its name Shippy from Old English skipig, which means sheep island. I can't tell you the number of sheep on the island anyway. One of the most terrible places on the Isle of Shippy is Sheerness, a coastal 0.3 mile stretch. It's one of the most deprived areas of England.
And I feel like it's deprived again because it's outside of the city. Because I look at the places people are living and I'm like, this is amazing. Have you seen the way people are living here? When you think of poverty, there's poverty and then there's poverty. To me, this is not poverty. I guess we need to open up the fridge and, see what they have for dinner and stuff, but still. But y'all are in love with your little intestines and freaking beans on bread. Y'all just live differently. Whatever.
The number of children living in poverty here is estimated at 800.
What is y'all's poverty line?
The majority of those living on the Isle of Shippy are UK born. This shows that poverty reigns in this area with a population older than the national average, and that repels visitors and expats.
But did you see how he emphasized also that they're UK born? So it makes me wonder if all the other places he was mentioning was it immigrants that are making up the low-income population. But over here in Shippy, it's UK-born people, which is even worse because it's like you're a citizen. You should be able to walk in anywhere, get a job, apply for a loan, or whatever that you need to do to level up in life. Or is that just the American dream speaking?
4. Hartcliffe.
Bristol? Again, another big name. Poverty. Birmingham, Bristol. The heck?
The name Hartcliffe refers to both the council ward and an outer suburb of the city of Bristol. This district of Bristol is made up of Hartcliffe and Headley Park, as well as a small portion of Bishopsworth and Withywood.
It is kind of depressing. Where's the color, Where's the flowers and stuff? Where's the beauty? It's all very monotone or monochrome.
It is one of the poorest areas of England on the northern slopes of Dundry Hill. The major problem of the people living in Hartcliffe is that they are earning a very low income.
Now that is something y'all can fix. If we can have our minimum wage isn't even livable. You think people can live off of $7.25 an hour? But that's why they say get an education, you can get a better job, raise your wage. Which I guess I do agree, but at the same time, people don't have the means to go to college and get an education. Minimum wage should be a livable wage. How can you have a minimum wage? This is the bottom line that you can pay someone, but they can't even survive off of it. That makes no sense to me. Is that socialism? Bernie Sanders.
According to a study, Hartcliffe is a place immersed in poverty and a lack of access to decent, affordable stores or greengrocers where good quality fresh produce can be picked.
Okay, so what's the actual term for that though? Where you don't have like proper grocery near you. Something desert, grocery desert or something like that. Damn. Someone open up a grocery store. I just don't understand how there's no assistance,
These businesses can't be there because the residents can't patronise them as they don't have the means.
Well, patronize them about what?
3. Great Yarmouth.
Great Yarmouth.
Also known as Yarmouth, Great Yarmouth is a seaside resort town in Norfolk, straddling the River Yare.
They better be popping. Wait, they're on the poverty list, so let's see why they're not popping. It seems like it would be a good touristy place.
About 20 miles east of Norwich. Sitting on a 3.1 square mile parcel of land between the North Sea and River Yare, the town has rows of houses lining its narrow streets. Unfortunately, it remains one of the poorest areas in England. One of the contributors to the poverty in Great Yarmouth is racism that has been addressed. Another...
Huh? How are you racist in 2022? Racism? I mean, that's your own doing then. If you don't want, like, if you're racist and that's making your community poor, then that's your own fault. Sorry to say, but it's true. That's so stupid. How can you hate people because they're race? You're dumb. Which is also probably why you can't afford nothing. No offense. Oh shit, here they come in the comment section. I can see your little fingers getting ready to type.
is racism that has not been addressed. Another one in this seaside town is mass unemployment with its usual attendant problems such as drug addiction and petty crime.
This is all bad. Racism, substance abuse, crime. We need more knowledge though. He's not going into detail.
Things are so bad that a school in town had to set up a food bank to support families who can't afford to eat. No wonder the town is plagued with social problems such as teenage pregnancies and single parenting.
Y'all need all the freaking programs. Help these people. Contraceptives, rehab therapy. I think another big problem is whenever you have this idea, before I started these reactions, before I was even in England, I didn't know there was, after I left England, I didn't even know there was homeless people there. Because when you think of England, you think of London. And when you think of London, you think of this beautiful, magical, accent-having, just great place to be. A foreign utopia. And I think that they want to maintain that idea because, again, that brings tourism. If you knew people are getting 16-year-olds banged up and snorting crack and stuff over a couple miles away, it's not the same idea. It's like, ooh, they're kind of dusty. But no, you want to have this idea of England being this perfect place. So is it kind of like you don't even mention these places, even though they do exist and they're your people? I just went on a tangent. I don't even know what the point I was trying to make.
2.
Hartlepool.
Hartley Pool.
Hartlepool.
The large port town of Hartley Pool in northeastern County Durham is the largest settlement and administrative centre of the larger borough of Hartlepool. Located 32 miles southeast of Newcastle upon Tyne and 17 miles southeast of Durham, it's also 20 miles southeast of Sunderland and...
Sorry, just a random note. I really like y'all's ports. Like, I know you're an island, but whenever I think of England, I don't think of an island. But it's really cool. Like, all the different ports and, like, coast and stuff. I wish I got to freaking visit a coastline. Ugh. I was so enamored by London. London this, London that. And then I was taking what's it called? The Eurostar? Yeah, I was going over to Brussels, going over to Amsterdam. I was everywhere.
Miles southeast of Durham, it's also 20 miles southeast of Sunderland and 12 miles northeast of Stockton-on-Tees. Surprisingly, such a large town can be among the poorest areas in England. The Hartlepool property ownership and rental statistics reveals a lower rate of home ownership than the national average.
But just because you don't own a home doesn't mean that you're poor. We have apartments everywhere here. Everybody rents here too. And especially in this economy, no one should be buying anything. You see the prices? Go on Zillow.com and look up housing prices. Go to freaking, your local dealership and compare prices from 5 years ago to now for the same car, same make and model. Renting is not a bad thing. In fact, some people would argue it's the smarter thing to do. I wouldn't be one of those people. But especially in this economy, you should be renting. Don't buy nothing right now. Wait until there's an inevitable crash and then start buying. And then sell, because you'll make a profit. Then buy again, then sell again, then buy again, then sell again. And look, you're wealthy. American dream. There you go.
So the proportion of children in low-income households are way above the England average. In almost all measurements of economic well-being, Hartlepool is doing so badly. 1. Jaywick.
Never say die. And it says it has beer, sports or something, witches, maybe sandwiches, beer, and sports. So it's like a bar. Never say die. Y'all are just very rough. Very ooh. Never say die. What the?
Our final point of call, which is actually the poorest area in England, is Jaywick, a coastal village located in the Tendring district of Essex.
And again, it's all the coastal cities that are the poorest, and I know it's because they're far from the city, London, tourism, where they're thriving. That's like the Wall Street of England. But still, you're right there on the coast, so get some ports, get some shipment, get some trade deals. Utilize the coast, The heck? That's terrible. Your coast should be popping.
It's 2 miles west of Clacton-on-Sea and on the North Sea coast of England. It's also 60 miles from London and 17 miles from Colchester.
That's freaking it. 60 miles from London and it's poor? Jackwick or Jaywick. That's ridiculous. 60 miles from London and it's the poorest city? Well, it's kind of just like how you walk down Times Square, then leave it, and you see people sleeping on the ground. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm 23.
Even though it once served as a popular holiday destination, it has now ranked England's poorest area for 2 years in a row.
But why?
It's so bad that a whopping 40% of residents of Essex Seaside Village live on benefits. On TV documentary series...
Okay, but there's nothing wrong with being on food stamps and stuff. Y'all call them benefits. We call them food stamps. Government assistance. Yeah, I don't think... Do what you gotta do. And for most... Over here anyway, you have to be at a certain, I think, wage to even qualify. So it's assistance. It's not meant to keep you and sustain you. It's supposed to help you. So again, I don't think there's anything wrong with being on benefits. So if you're the type of person who shames someone for being on benefits, shame on you, buster.
Are images of neglected houses and unpaved roads riddled with potholes.
The only thing that's bad here to me is the grass. Y'all need to mow your lawns and your gardens, as you call them. But the houses are presentable. Like, I wouldn't be ashamed to live in one of these. This looks nice. I mean, the freaking telephone lines do give projects, but the houses themselves are nice. You got brick, you've got a garage. It's not terrible.
The Essex Council has recently pumped some $8.8 million into improving the infrastructure in Jaywick.
Nice.
But it was so bad that huge amount has not been very impactful.
Oh, damn.
As you can see from this list, those poorest areas in England...
You can't show me Big Ben after just telling me people are living in poverty and teens are getting... having babies and stuff. I don't want to see Big Ben, and I don't want to see, what do you call it? The chapel where they get married and stuff. That's all a facade. It's fake. People are out here living badly, but yet people are taking ferry rides up and down the strip. Going to Westminster Abbey, going to the Gold Gate Castle, wherever the Queen is. I don't remember the name of it. And I'm not going to think of it, whatever. But this video is very eye-opening. Whenever I do come back eventually, I definitely want to go outside of London and see what England and the UK is actually like. Because again, in my mind, it's just London, London, London. But no, England and the UK, Scotland, Wales, Republic of Ireland, it's so much more than just freaking London. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're out there and you're struggling, hit me up. I'll cash app you some money, because why not? Get yourself some McDonald's. Bye.